Hi everyone, welcome back to another vlog. Well, summer is officially here, school is out, and I ironically am watching Teach You a Lesson, a K-drama about the issues in the educational system in Korea. Although it is highly dramatized, there are some things that I definitely identify with as a teacher. This week I want to talk about failure and setbacks, but first of all, what happened to the potato plant? It died. But now we have a new one, a mango. Let's see what happens. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jenna. I'm an artist and teacher. In these videos, I'm doing the 300 drawing prompts. This is the second week. Each time I do one spread with 2 pencils, no eraser, and 10 minutes per drawing. Alright, let's talk about setbacks and failure. I will also go over my drawings, but the main theme today is how do you deal with setbacks when you think everything's going really well, but then suddenly something just stops you and you need to, for example, take a break like I did last week. There are a lot of things that are kind of piling up once again. For example, there was a watercolor course that I made videos about preparing and doing, and almost a month later, it hasn't been completed. This is a huge setback for me. When something like this happens, it's really hard not to get discouraged. But let's take a brief moment to talk about the drawings. So the first drawing is a sundial. Of course, it's the warm-up drawing. I'm sketching it out and there's a lot of mistakes, but I can cover them with some shading. This next egg frying in a skillet went a lot better. There were some issues that I felt while drawing this. For example, I was not really sure if the perspective was right, but I felt really happy with the shading, and I thought that overall it was a lot more successful than the first drawing. Okay, so back to the watercolor story. While taking such a long break may seem like a giant defeat, it doesn't mean that the war is over. You know how they say you win some, lose the battle, but win the war. And that's exactly how I like to see these setbacks. I like to see them as little battles that are going to keep compounding. And finally, I will have enough experience and knowledge to win the war. Another thing I like to do is check my mindset. When things don't go right or things just keep compounding, it can feel really bad, and it's natural to have negative thoughts and feelings. But I always like to check my mindset. If I've been stuck or feeling negative for too long, I like to take a deep breath and tell myself, you did your best, you tried your hardest, and you never know how this is going to show up in the future. Take the snail mail club, for example. I spent most of last year preparing, like 6 to 7 months. I sent mail out for 3 months, and then after that, I just shut everything down. I've seen people make really successful small businesses out of their snail mail club, but for some reason, it just wasn't for me. After I closed it down, I decided to make a video just to tell my members the reasons why I shut it down. I had no idea that that video would become so successful with over 1,000 views. And thank you so much if you found my channel from that video. For whatever reason, it just seemed to resonate with people. So, well, to me that kind of felt like a failure. You really never know how something is going to come back and contribute in a different way. Going back to drawing, the gingerbread man, I chose something really simple. For this nutcracker, I wanted to simplify as much as possible because the details just felt overwhelming. I think I kind of pulled it off, making it look really sketchy, but then at the same time, I wasn't too worried about making this a finished drawing. All in all, I would say it's a pretty good sketching session, and I am pretty happy with this spread. If you made it this far, well, we're at the end of the video. To sum up, in this video, I talked a little bit about failure and setbacks and how I like to see them. I always try to remind myself that even though you lost the battle, it doesn't mean you lost the war. And finally, I like to check my mindset. Things don't always work out, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to contribute in some other way. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you like videos like this, please drop a comment and tell me what you think. And as always, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.